shake your booty.
Welcome to the FPL USA Press Play podcast. We had a mixed bag of a game week, number 12. But it's Thanksgiving week, and I'm joined by a dad that needs no introduction. He's got the bod that Thanksgiving dreams of. Bucks, how are you doing, mate?
Oh, it is good to be back recording with you, Brian. And yeah, this is the lead up to, not surprisingly, my favorite holiday of them all. Bring on all the Thanksgiving, all the gravy, all the stuffing, all the sides. Yum, yum. I'm so excited. Not even FPL and a very mid and lukewarm game week could bring me down. That's for sure. And I'm grateful to be here with you, Brian. It's always good to chat with friends.
If your team was lukewarm, mine is very much ice cold, I would say, between the two of us.
Yours has freezer burn. It's like someone in your family tried to save last year's turkey leftovers, and they've just been sitting in a Ziploc bag that's been bumped around a couple too many times in that bottom drawer of your freezer. So time to throw that thing away, and let's start fresh going into game week 13. How's that sound?
Yeah, as much as I'd like to delete team, we trudge onwards through the good and the bad. But excited to have some #FPL community questions on FPL as we really start the festive fixture run-in. I feel like this is the time, especially in the U.S., where a lot of us are starting to get together with our family and friends, watch some sports on a couple days off. I'm very much looking forward to this week. And then, of course, the December madness, where really the men and the women will separate themselves from the boys and the girls of FPL. We're going to see a lot of movement up the ranks, and hopefully one of us will at least do well. And I'm betting it's going to be you this season, because I am just, I'm on the wrong side of it. But I digress. We will answer some more questions later, plus talk about more Thanksgiving food items. But before we jump into that, let's talk about Game Week 12.
Yeah, let's
hit me, Goose.
Game Week 12, very quick, in a nutshell. Kind of a lot of captaincy blanks. My team was one of those with a Holland captain that, the way the game went, I thought I was going to be on a big score and he was going to haul, honestly, when you watch that Newcastle match. But all in all, I get the smallest of green arrows. And this is one of those weeks where as long as you stay afloat and you stay kind of on a green arrow or a gray dot, you're trending in the right direction. So I end up with 47 points all out. Fine. That's great. Keep the momentum going for another game week. I had big returns from Munoz. He was kind of one of my stars of the game week. And from Enzo Fernandez. Score. Yeah. And beyond that, kind of a lot of yuck. So whatever. Take the points, take the green arrow, keep it moving. How'd you do, Brian?
I mean, I would say Enzo was the savior of your game week. He scores in the 88th minute, and you essentially had a three-pointer locked, and that was a big goal and bonus points for him. So that was a big turn in your game week.
Yeah, big swing moment. And, of course, when Munoz gets that goal as well, I just, in the game weeks where not a lot of things go right, to even get one or two hauls can often be enough.
That's right.
Listen, steady the ship, steady as she goes. You don't have to win FPL in a single game week, but if you can just be on cruise control in the tough ones and eke out even, like I said, a gray dot, so you're not like moving 500K up or down, that's good enough. You get enough of those over the course of the season, you're going to have a good rank. So that's my perspective. I feel like you're
deliberately jabbing me with the huge turkey cutting knife, because my team was absolutely just pathetic once again.
Brian, we do need to probably get out that automatic carver, right? You turn it on to full speed. We might need to make some emergency surgery in your team even before we get the
fucking Jedi lightsaber and just stick it through my gullet, because that's how this season's going. I end up on 37 points, small red arrow, but very much Captain Mo Salah and Liverpool. Second worst form in the Premier League over the last 7 game weeks, only behind Wolves. What the flying bleep is going on at Anfield? That was a shocking result to see a pretty much fully healthy squad just get ripped apart by Nottingham fucking Forest. Very unexpected.
At home. at home. I
Very
think
unexpected.
the Anfield Magic not pulling any sway was really shocking. My bank account was shocked by that result, and so were my eyes,
Oh,
ears, and brain
we
cells.
don't we
They
don't
were
want to
all
talk
like,
about
"What
that
the
either,
hell?"
Bucks. We don't want to talk about those bank account moves either. And then on top of it, I actually made 2 transfers going in this game week. I made them early, so on my bench I have Semenyo and Gabriel, so I was not able to deal with any of those fires. But I did bring in Thiago from Brentford, and I had the reverse of what fortune you stumbled into, where you got Enzo's kind of 8-point last gasp goal for your FPL team. I had a last minute penalty chance where Thiago was going to be going to 13 points after he makes his second fucking pen. And instead, he misses it, gets stopped by none other than Bart Verbruggen. Ugh, Brighton pain once again.
Womp
They sullied
womp.
my game week. They sullied Thiago's pants. Just disgusting. And so he ends up on 4 points. But that essentially, he bangs that in, I'm on a green arrow instead, and net like -9 moment in extra time. Just fucking awful. So that's where we're
Can't
at.
be too
I think I've
mad
only
at
dropped
Thiago, right?
seven F-bombs to start the recap here. So I'm spicy. Let's keep it moving because we have some great news, because Mr. Blackwolf appears on the pod last week, decides to activate his bench boost at FPL
I think
Pickle
the peer
and
pressure from us worked, by the way, on Dan. So credit to you,
He
Dan.
got it done.
You come back to the podcast, you get that well-deserved bounce back green arrow. He ends up topping a couple of our mini leagues. He's the top scoring content creator according
That's
to
right.
FPL Game Week. Shout
Love
out to
that.
that amazing free resource to track your mini league scores. He ends up on 63
63.
points. Listen,
Huge.
it's not a tremendous score, but anytime you can beat the rest of the herd, you can be even 10 points up on the field, you take it and you run to the bank. So it's good to see Black Wolf earn a little bit of Christmas and holiday joy, because the Wolves are giving him nothing but coal this season. So bravo to you, Black Wolf. All love.
Yeah, and he goes with Munoz for 14 points, Enzo for 11 points, Anderson on the bench boost with a 10-pointer versus Sunderland. So that was a huge moment for him. I believe he got some DEFCON, picked up some bonus. And then Thiago, also 4 points on his bench boost. Could have been even larger, but I would argue that's a 63-point score when people are close to 40. That's almost 25 points on the average. So
Pretty
well
good.
done to him. And a clean sweep, 3 for 3 on the bench boost between each of the podcasting hosts, Bucks. That is really impressive. He ends up on 19 points on his bench boost. I had 22, and you had the best with 27. So you'd think we'd be at higher overall ranks,
And we
given this
each
situation.
only had 14 players. So the trend
Yeah,
continues.
so
we are nothing if not in alignment here in the FPL USA. Now, speaking of the kind of trend lines, the game week average was just around 35, 36 points. So again, another low scoring game week across the board. But that wasn't an issue for the manager of the game week in our Press Play FPLUSA, which is our free to enter mini league. It is a global prize league. So we want to congratulate and give a special shout out to manager Roshan D and their squad. Your Sesko's on fire, because despite
Sesko's on fire.
Sesko might be burning in the training table right now as he gets more icy hot rubbed all over his limbs. But Roshan D's team does the business. 78 points total. Really, really great squad, and we're going to put that up on screen. Most notably, to my eye, he has the Eze 20-pointer sitting right there, nice and sexy in the middle of his screen. And then he has Anderson and Munoz in the back line, both adding double-digit haul. So bravo to you, Roshan D.
Not to mention today, Bucks, he gets a 13-point auto sub in for Dewsbury Hall in a crazy. Gets DEFCON, gets the goal, man of the match, 3 bonus points. So this guy is absolutely killing it. So Kings of Leon, name drop straight to Kings of the Game Week. So well done to Roshan.
Yeah, and I think before we switch over and start talking about Game Week 13, just worth mentioning, Eberici Eze was the real star, the breakout star, I should say, of the game week. 20 points was the top score. This was his first North London derby, and the fact that he kind of comes on, gets a hat trick in his debut derby for Arsenal was
No big
pretty
deal.
remarkable. But I think what's most notable is that, he was rumored initially to go to Spurs. So the fact that he ends up on Arsenal and then in this major match,
Right.
really just kind of levels up. He really goes, it's good to score for Crystal Palace, and they are a storied club, but, just score in the North London Derby for Arsenal when you have title aspirations, major kudos to him and any managers who have him in place in their club.
I mean, I'll be honest, he easily could have scored 4 goals. He had another pretty good attempt as well, which I think this is his first hat trick ever, right? I remember him bagging some braces for Crystal Palace, but never a hat trick. So to see the man on 20 points, very clinical with all of his finishes. None of them were tap-ins, right? Those were all
they were
pretty
all excellent goals.
pretty
And I should
excellent
mention
finishes.
that I think this is kind of my takeaway from the 20-point haul that Eze had, is just how much work as a midfielder Eze had to do to score 20 points. Whereas we're frequently seeing kind of these defenders get a goal, clean sheet, DEFCON, maybe bonus points.
17
and
pointer.
they're all the way at like 17 or 18 points without kind of really doing all that much different than their job description. So I just think that's something really important for FPL managers across the community to remember as they look to set up a free hit chip, or if they still have their wildcard draft. Just have that be something that's tickling in the back of your brain as you're looking to pick your starting 11.
Man, Eze has 6 shots, 3 goals, but his XG is 0.66. So he very much is shooting up the charts in those overachieving ranks. Wow, truly incredible.
And bravo to the 10%
of
managers who had him, right? I mean,
yep. And Spurs, they're just not ready for the big boy matches. It seems like they're still trying to find their identity. Some people are starting to get a little
so I can make excuses for them, but also I just think that it was a total capitulation. They didn't come out with a squad that looked to go and kind of take the game from Arsenal, or even take the game to Arsenal. It was kind of just playing for like a 0-0.
It was so unbelievably Richarlison to score an absurd goal from the halfway mark to wipe out the clean sheets. And I'm one of the managers who still has double defense. I have Raya and Timber. And so Timber had just scored, I think, had his assist, right? So he's like, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get like 9, 10, 11 points from him. And then, of course, Richie just comes up with the godly type of goal over the outstretched Raya's hands, takes 2 dribbles and boots it from midfield. Just oh man, that's the type of season. That was a kick in the nuts for my. I'm just like, can I even get the 40 points? No chance. Clean sheets.
No, not meant to be. All right, with that, I think let's put a hard hasta la vista to game week 12, and
Bye-bye.
Let's prepare. Yeah, let's fast forward to game week 13. Let's talk about what's to come this weekend. And, we have Champions League, and then we're going to have game week 14 is actually going to be midweek game week. So the festive fixture pileup is well and truly here. So prepare for the madness and make sure to tune into our podcast so that you set those bus teams. You don't miss any of the FPL deadlines. Brian, turn the page for us. Let's do game week 13 preview.
Yeah, let's just shout out a few of the matches to target for FPL hauls. A lot of people are on free hit, so we're going to go through a free hit draft coming up, and then also share one of the hashtag FPLUSA community members' wild cards. So first and foremost, a lot of people are very interested in a few of these select matches. Some of the strategy is maybe to swerve Chelsea and Arsenal, who are kind of top of the table, right, Bucks? 2 teams that are playing very well.
Not kind of. Open your eyes.
You might want
Look up. There they
swerve.
are.
Yep, you might want to swerve that match potentially. Chelsea has played some of the top teams very strongly this season, although I guess Liverpool is not really a strong team at this moment, but we still beat their ass. So, Man City hosting Leeds. So this is a door-swinging moment for any of the differentials that you can possibly pick out on free hit. So we have some questions later discussing some of the assets from Man City. They obviously lose 2-1 in a crazy match. Did you watch any of that one, Bucks?
Yeah,
Just
I
the
was
highlights.
actually dialed in. I watched the Chelsea match entirely, and then I watched like 2/3 of that Man City Newcastle
Yeah, the
match.
first half was just enthralling. Like there were so many chances. Holland probably, yeah, he futzed up this chip. I was very surprised that he missed by. He completely has kind of like a one-on-one breakaway where the keeper comes way out at him and he shit the bed and basically just I can't believe how poor of a chip that was. That should have been a 1-0 lead, and instead 0-0 at halftime. The XG for both teams was off the charts. Barnes missed a sitter, and then we see 7 goals in like 7 minutes, or 3 goals in 7 minutes, excuse me. So it was a chaotic match.
Yeah, it was a wild one. I think that it was a little hard done on City that they don't end up winning that game, because I think on their day, Holland has a brace, and then Barnes claps back with a brace, and City still end up winning that game 3-2. I think on in a normal situation, but that's the magic of kind of playing at St. James Park. I know we've talked about it many times on this podcast. One of the hidden advantages is, one, the fans show up really liquored up and ready for a performance to cheer on their team. That is super important and not to be overlooked. And secondly, St. James's pitch is actually not level. So in the second half, they make the opposition run uphill, they run downhill, and you could see how that really had an impact, where Harvey Barnes just looked like he was a 25-year-old again. He was outpacing all of City's defenders, and he has a well-deserved brace and gives them the game-winning result. But I think that's really good for any Erling Haaland owners, and potentially bodes well for those who can get a triple up on Manchester City this game week, because I think they're going to come into this match angry. They play at home, and they play against Leeds, who are well below their level, despite having, a pretty good start to the season. So, yeah,
like
I think that's the chief reason to consider using a chip here.
On a different day, Holland had 5 shots amounting to 1.54 XG. Not bad.
Blanked.
And it comes out with a 2-pointer. So
I mean,
I would say
the play you're discussing, Brian, that one, he had a 1-on-0. I mean, Pope was in no man's land, and that was Darwin Núñez, Nicholas Jackson level type of a mess. It was, I mean, innocent raccoons were harmed in how off base that shot was. It was so far off net. It was very uncharacteristic.
Yeah. All right, other matches to target this upcoming game week. Burnley at Brentford. Brentford are showing some good form. They unfortunately do not pull out the draw versus Brighton, but overall look very competent, and there look like there's a few picks there. Thiago already on 9 or 10 goals this young season.
9 goals, second behind Holland.
Yeah, missed that pen. Should have, I mean, man, how many missed penalties am I going to have in my team this year? I got Thiago, I got Bruno, I got Holland, I got Semenyo, I got some other stiff. Good Lord, these are a lot of points that I feel like I was getting last year when Chris Wood and I was banging in his pens. But anyway, I digress. And then we have Wolves at Villa. And Villa is a team that I just really don't have a strong pulse on. I don't think there's been any standout assets that have really been dominating the conversation after their slow start, where we touched on that with FPL Pickle last week on the show. But Morgan Rogers comes in with a brace, beautiful free kick. Could be a pick, but we also saw Watkins.
They're all the way sitters. Up to...
And so
they're all the way up to 4th place, Brian. They were in last place.
How?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows how jumbled up the Premier League is right now. And again, I think what's most important to notice here is that the 3 teams that we are highlighting that have tilted fixtures in Game Week 13 all play at home. So that even boosts probably the odds that they are going to get the result. And again, that's Aston Villa in massive form right now. Wolves in terrible form. Brentford they're in a decent run of form. They're playing against Burnley. I think, kind of the things that we know for certain thus far this season are right now that Burnley and Wolves are the teams to target. So I think no matter who they're playing against, they could be playing against the Sisters of the Poor. They could be playing against the blind nuns of, Titicaca. But whoever's playing against them, you want a captain or at least have one attacker from those sides.
Blind Nuns from Titicaca. That might have to be the episode title. Good
Okay.
Lord. I don't know
Sorry
where
about that, Black
you
Wolf.
went into the recess and depths of your mind to pull that one out. But I love, grab the home guys. Grab the home trio.
And then, as we flip the page, we want to talk about kind of the best matches in real life. Now, these might not be the best for FPL points, but if you are a chaotic and psycho soccer loving or footy loving fan like the two of us are, and you just love and can't get enough of the Premier League, these are definitely games that should be on your radar. I'll go through the Manchester United at Crystal Palace. Now, both teams kind of in a weird space right now. They both should feel like they should be higher up the table. And then, their fans are probably like, throwing stuff at their TV. And then we have Arsenal at Chelsea in another kind of London derby. So I think probably a lot of managers have at least 5 players between those 4 teams, if not more. I think I have like 8. So kind of the appeal of a free hit is getting those players out and bringing in kind of players that have a more advantageous matchup. At least that's my thinking. You agree, or you think Arsenal defense or Chelsea attackers are good enough here?
I'm just like looking at the schedule for this upcoming weekend. Did you see this action on Sunday? The first match is Palace and United at 4 a.m. Pacific. What the Dusseldorf? That's the earliest match I've ever seen for the U.S. Is it a holiday? And why is that at 4 a.m.?
It's always a holiday when you're watching the Premier League, baby.
Apparently, they're sneaking that game in at 4 a.m. and then Chelsea and Arsenal play at 8:30, and then there's 3 fixtures at 6:05. What is going on?
It's a weird one. It's a 5 and 5er here. Yeah, it's an unbalanced weekend.
Yeah,
but I will say something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still.
You're gonna be up, baby. Just do the breastfeeding in the middle of the night.
Were you impressed with the way Chelsea won that match, or are you expecting are you expecting them to score versus Arsenal at home?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is.
Can they get a draw in this match?
Yeah, of course they're home. I think I would be disappointed. The big thing is that Chelsea also play Barcelona in Champions League, and Arsenal notably play Bayern Munich. So they both have major games midweek that they should have their focus on in the short term before they turn the page.
Please no injuries. Please no more injuries.
So I think that'll be really important. But also I think, a little advantage to Chelsea is that they will have 1 extra day of rest. And I know for anyone who's hoping that Cole Palmer could be fit for this match, those 24 hours could be really critical. So dare to dream as a Chelsea fan.
What happened? He stubbed his toe on the bed?
I think he dropped a nice cup of tea on his big toe. He's going to be okay.
I feel like he was like up late night, like trying to juggle while on like a hoverboard or something he wasn't supposed to be doing, something he's like, I'm going to unwrap some of these early presents under the tree. Oh, hoverboard. I got to fuck with this. And then he fell off.
Hopefully it wasn't, Central C, dropping like a blunt on the guy's toe or something. That would be really bad.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm expecting that to be a tight contest, but I would currently favor Arsenal to pull out a 2-1 victory. But we'll see how it goes. All right.
That's a rubbish take.
Let's transition here and just talk about some free hit drafts for game week 13. So, and then more about your chip strategy. So you and I both have free hit and triple captain left, and a lot of managers do as well. Or do you have triple captain left? I can't remember.
Yeah, so I have those 2, like you said.
Yeah, so there's only a couple more game weeks coming up, and then we're going to get topped up to 5 free transfers. PSA, 5 free transfers heading into game week 16. So it is advised to use all of your transfers before that game week 15 deadline, and then you'll be topped up. So
yeah, and you should also say, Brian, right? You have to use all 4 of your chips. The first half chips need to be used by game week 19.
That's right. Yeah, through game week 19. So, I think for me, looking at my squad, I'm either going to free hit this week, which I have not given a single ounce of thought. I know at least you have come prepared to this pod. Or I'm looking at game week 16 as a free hit week opportunity, and then having 5 free transfers heading into game week 17. So that's 2 of the more popular strategies. I know Dan was talking about that on the show last week, which I also like. I'm just like so far behind. I need to go with like a semi-alternate strategy and maybe just swerve this upcoming game week 13, which seems to be so popular for people holding their wild cards or free hitters. But let's talk about this draft you put together here. I'm gonna bring it up on the old screen, and you can tell me, kind of tell the listeners and the viewers where your building blocks are from an FPL perspective to build this free hit. You know, we're looking for 11 of the best players, maybe 1 sub, and then hope to cruise from there. So tell me, what were the non-negotiables when you were setting up this squad?
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. So I think when you look at game week 13 as a free hit option, you really should look at your bust team first. Do you have heavy investment in Chelsea and Arsenal? Are you heavy in Crystal Palace and Manchester United? Especially Manchester United, if you watched any of that Everton match that they just played, which was an absolute snooze fest and a disgrace.
What in the world? I don't think I've ever seen what occurred on the pitch today where your teammates get into a fight and the referee decides to give a red card in a
teammates get into a fight. That team is penalized with a red card, and yet that is the team that ends up having a surge of momentum to carry through on an away day against an extra man and win the game. I mean, it boggles your head. That being said, when you look at a free hit draft, as I said earlier, I think you need to start with Erling Haaland and you need to start with a Manchester City triple up. So once you figure out who those 3 guys are going to be, kind of helps you put into place who's going to complete your roster. The way I did it is I also want to have a triple up on Villa and a triple up on Brentford. Again, targeting the fixtures. And then really the question comes down to who gets those last 2 spots. Now, of course, we mentioned Liverpool are in dreadful form right now, but they play West Ham, and West Ham have been a team that could get at this season. So, of course, if you want to have Mo Salah in your team as kind of a differential for that match, free hit is a great time to do that because you don't have to deal with him as he blanks his life away the rest of the game weeks until kind of you get your second wild card. Alternatively, if you want to pick an Arsenal defender because you feel like they're just by far and away the best defense in the league and you don't want to go completely without, maybe you disagree with me that you think Chelsea won't score, then you should pick an Arsenal defender, as one of those kind of last 2 slots. Alternatively, if you're me, maybe you just pick some punts and you just go for it because you want to have a little bit of fun and you want to have some guys in place that are kind of well and truly just yours. So I put together this draft. Again, it's a little bit more punty than I think is the template. And I can go through it starting with the forwards. Let's do that. Is that cool?
Let's do it.
All right. So like I said, up top, Erling Haaland, he's not going anywhere. I think he's the by far and away best captaincy option in game week 13. I wouldn't slag you if you're thinking about using a triple captainship on him this week. He's home, he's hungry, he's fit, and he plays against Leeds, who are a good defense, not a great defense. So again, I think he's going to score points.
Better at home at Ellen Road, right? Like you expect Haaland to do the business in this match.
I mean, I expect he's going to score, honestly, in every match, but especially when he's home, especially when he blanked the game week before. He's going to be super energized for this one. Thiago, he's the second top forward option. He has 9 goals, should have 10 or 11 for Brentford. He's cheap. He slots right in. He almost picks himself. And then as my differential up top, I just look at these Liverpool matches and specifically the left back position with Kirkez and Robbo seems to be a point of major weakness. So I went a little crazy. I picked Bowen. He's kind of my guy in this free hit draft.
You mean the DEFCON master himself, the first ever forward to get DEFCON?
Well, I think he's going to get a goal in this game, so I'm hopeful that it won't just be a 4-point affair from the Gerrard. Going into midfield, again, I'm keeping it simple. I have Dango Atara. He's my second Brentford guy. I have Morgan Rogers. He now seems to have free kicks. That adds an extra feather into his hat. He had a brace and he hasn't been banging it in, but again, he's in good form. He has a lot of different routes to points, and he has that kind of explosive ceiling. Then I have Gakpo. He's going to be in place instead of Mo Salah for me. I just think with Verts injured, Gakpo seems nailed on the left wing. Yeah, it's fine. Half the price of Mo Salah. And then I'm going to be in a 3-4-3. So I will have Count Doku. Jeremy Doku will be my City midfielder. Now, I have seen a lot of FPL drafts that have Doku and Foden. I don't hate that. But again, I just think that not both of them are going to haul. It's going to be one or the other. And I'm just going to bet on Doku. He's having a little bit better of a season from the eye test perspective for me. Wrapping it up, I'll have 3 defenders. I didn't really overthink this one. I have Virgil, and that's on accident because I put Bowen in later on. But I will have a City defender. I went with Nunez. Whatever, it could be Diash. It could be Nico O'Reilly. I have Lucas Dean, the troll himself. He's fit, and we just saw Matty Cash is now flagged. So I don't want to risk that. I just want to have a guy that I don't have to stress about. He's going to start, plays against Burnley, or he plays against Wolves. Sorry, Dan. They're the new Burnley this season. And so I think that's a clean sheet.
Are you not put off by Dean getting hooked at halftime at all in this last match?
I think if anything, that's a good sign that he's going to play more minutes in the game weeks ahead. He's being rested. And then I have Emi Martinez in goal. So I have double Villa defense. I think they are the odds-on favorite for a clean sheet in game week 13. And then my third pick would probably be Timber. If I don't have a Chelsea outfield player, I'll probably go with an Arsenal defender just as a hedge. Again, alternatively, you could go with a player like Senesi, who's plays Sunderland, or you could play, Mukiele, who both those guys have been DEFCON beasts, despite not really getting so many clean sheets. So again, it all fits together. As long as you don't need to fit in Salah, I feel like there's no budget concerns. And right now, I see no reason to be tempted by Salah. He stinks. He couldn't hit the ocean with a beach ball.
Yeah, very interesting look at the free hit.
You hate it. Say it, Brian. You hate it.
No, there's just a few picks inside. Like, you're looking at somebody like, I don't know. I just feel like going with Munoz, who just scored a 14-pointer, but like Manchester United didn't do shit against Everton.
That's a good point.
Up a man, and like he's got that high ceiling, right? So there's somebody I think you should definitely consider. Maybe we're just trying to figure out how to rate Manchester United, but I think, like you said before, a lot of these defenders are getting the big 10 to 15 to 17 pointers. So like, are you going to play a 4-4-2 with this lineup, or are you thinking 3-5-2?
No,
that's just something you're thinking 3-4-3.
I just think that's 3-4-3. Yeah,
I don't like it. I think you should be playing a 4-4-2 or at least 4 at the back. So something to consider. Very much so when you're comparing the ceilings of Bowen versus the ceiling.
Bowen might be like 2% owned, and he's playing against Liverpool. Liverpool defense, we will have a reckoning about their performance this first half of the season. It won't be tonight, but there's something seriously amiss with their title defense. Yeah.
All right, let's speed this up a little bit. Were there any other players that you were considering on free hit? Is there anybody else on your watch list that really caught your eye? I've obviously just tipped, Munoz, some other higher.
You mentioned attacking. Munoz, Foden, Semenyo. I think maybe if you want to get Watkins in, he's in rubbish form. He's in he is not scoring goals this season. But again, he plays Wolves, and that could be a very good get-right game. So.
I was just thinking that, like, looking at, like, the Bowen slot, I'm like, you should just really make that Watkins, who's also going to have really poor ownership and going against Wolves at home. It's more conceivable that you can see Wolves do a back pass and the Junkyard Dog just pounces on it and gets a goal. Like, obviously, we could see a response from Liverpool where they could turn around, where there are no answers for Dan's Wolves. There are no answers. Like there's no turning it around, right? And so I think you should consider that. I would not love to be on a double up with Dean and Martinez. That sounds so fucking boring.
It does, but you know
Villa.
what? Boring this season. If you just pick defensive mids instead of any attacking
Bucks,
midfielders,
go Bucks wild, go Bucks wild. Yeah, we need to see some more fun picks here.
All right, it's all worth considering. Again, we have a couple more days and definitely
That's
Champions League and then the press conferences to navigate. But again, I think the bones are in place. You want to have a triple up on City, on Brentford, and on Villa. Beyond that, fill in the blanks yourself and make it fun.
Okay. Let's now transition to preview one of our #FPL community members' wildcard drafts from at FPL Barrister. Actually,
shout out to Jeremy.
FPL. Yeah, the New Yorker himself.
Yeah, we're actually meeting up for a Men in Blazers event in early December. Can't wait to see you there, Jeremy. And so let's give you some gleeful wisdom ahead of these holidays as you look at your Game Week 13 wildcard draft. And
I would say for anyone who has wildcard left, now is the moment. Don't delay it anymore. You're losing value if you keep delaying it based on everybody else being topped up with 5 free transfers soon. So your edge on the field now is like Game Week 13, 14, and 15.
Yeah, you only really have 4 game weeks to get the most out of this wild card, because then you're going to have another mini wild card in Game Week 16.
Exactly. All right, I'll read through it from back to front here. We got Petrovic in goal with Dubravka. Then we have Munoz, Virgil, Timber, Truffleman himself, and Keane. Then across the middle, we have Semenyo, Bumo, Foden, Sarr, and Minte. Then you have Holland, Thiago, Mateta. Very strong. I'm curious to see a lot of these teams, especially on Game Week 13 wildcard. You can still accommodate for players who are leaving for AFCON, but eventually you'll start thinking about, like, is Sarr, oh my God, Sarr. This guy bags in every time versus Liverpool in different cup competitions. He's on a run of blanks. 3 blanks in a row since I brought him in my side, I think. Bucks, you got to be close to that too.
Very frustrating.
That's been tough, but just something to consider for those players going on AFCON. You will have to address them. Most teams are probably going to see those players leave Game Week 17-ish, 18, depending on what they've kind of negotiated between their club and country. But just pointing that out, because I think in this team I'm seeing a number of players who will depart. So it's just something to consider. Yeah. I would probably want to have 2 to 3 AFCON players potentially. And then again, is Sarr worth the upside? Like, I don't know. It's not really.
That's the issue, I think. When I look at this team, Brian, I'm glad you called it out. I think the issue is 4 of your midfielders are going to go to AFCON. So you're basically banking your wild card to then need the mini wild card. Whereas I would rather be able to maybe think about using only 2 of those transfers than carry a couple of them forward in Game Week 16. So that's kind of what I think is the weakest part of this potential setup. And then beyond that, I feel like the double Bournemouth defense, I'm a Truffleman supporter, so I won't slag that pick. But I think for Petrovic, I would just go Sanchez. I mean, he's having a better season. If you can stretch the funds to get the Chelsea goalkeeper in, he's doing more FPL points right now than Petrovic, and the fixtures are arguably equally decent. So I would try and stay away from supporting double Bournemouth defense, especially because, right now they're down 2 of their best midfielders with Semenyo flagged and Kluivert flagged as well. And then come AFCON, they're not going to have Semenyo. So again, they're only going to get weaker as we get closer to Game Week 19. And with the fixture pileup, you just kind of want a sure thing, what we know we can predict. Even Pickford, I kind of rate higher than going a Bournemouth defender.
Yeah, getting a player like Bruno in instead of Mbumo saves you that transfer out, and you just have somebody who's going to play every single Christmas break match. So I kind of
play
like
90
that.
every time exactly. They run out.
I kind of like going with the steady hand there, so that you don't have to again have like all these transfers out later on. So you have a lot of depth. I don't know if Barrister is going to be bench boosting. It kind of looks like maybe he still has bench boost left.
He needs it.
So, I would probably downgrade either Sarr or Minte to like getting KDH or somebody like Elliot Anderson, so you can just free up funds and just, you don't want to have multiple players on your bench over 6.5 million, because then you're just kind of in a spot where you're not really getting enough value into your starting 11. But overall, structure is strong. Like, I think Timber, only having one Arsenal, I think we saw that earlier in the season when their fixtures weren't as good and they still kicked everybody's ass. And so I'm kind of thinking like 2 Arsenal based on how they're playing, and just like, I don't know, they pretty much have complete control of a lot of these games. I would look there as well. Is Foden
can I get
somebody where could you get Foden up to Saka, for instance?
Well, no, I disagree.
Like
I would go Sar to Rice. Easy.
Yeah, maybe. So just think about things like that, because I think we've just seen where, again, we all swerved Arsenal to open up the season for the most part, and I know Jeremy Barrister Man is a Gunners fan, where it's like, dude, just get to Arsenal. This could be their season. You want to have their assets, right? And you know what you're getting from them every single game week, whereas the other top teams still pretty much erratic. So I like it. All right, let's.
All right, that's enough help for him, because this weekend we're going to be warring parties, as we are Chelsea men and he is an Arsenal supporter.
Right.
So
that's right.
Worst of luck come game week 13.
What time
Jeremy.
is it, Bucks? What time is it?
Let's FPL community questions. Let's dive into the mailbag.
Make sure to treat all of your U.S. postal workers and postal workers across the world with a little bit of enthusiasm and joy as they deliver all of our gifts coming up here in the next month. But for us,
10 or a nice crisp 20 goes a long way to making sure your holiday packages actually make it into your warm embrace.
That must be a city thing. We got some nice suburban folks near me handling the mail, but let's dive in. So at My Cayman Fan wants to know, what transfer advice would you give to a non-free hit team owner this week? So again, City look like a double up potentially is a good way to shield yourself. So if you want to get Nico O'Reilly or somebody cheap, you could also, look at Cherky or Doku. And that's actually a question we also have from at FPL Hunt, who wants to know, is Doku or Cherky worth the risk? Are they even FPL options, or are they going to be rotated to hell? So he needs an option under 6.5. And so both those guys are ticking that box. I would probably prefer Doku, I guess, in terms of his minutes and fitness.
Yeah, this is a Doku type fixture also, because, Leeds are going to look to stymie them. They're going to play kind of 10 men behind the ball, and you're going to need kind of that flair to break the lines and pass it into Holland or even shoot on goal. So I really like Doku as he's a low risk pick based on his price. So pretty much any FPL manager probably has some player they can swap in like for Doku. So 6.3 million, I think, is his price. He should fit in most FPL rosters.
And do you think after a loss that Doku starts this next one? Or where does Pep make changes?
Honestly, I don't think the issue was up to, it wasn't his fault. Let's say that. I mean, if Foden gets that tap in, if Holland does what he normally does, they're winning that game, and we don't ask these questions. So I just think that was a tough away match.
All right, we prefer Doku and over Cherky. Other options, I mean, Minte, if you don't have him, I'm not going for him because I have a ban on Brighton, but he's been looking very promising.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to have leveled up in his game play. And then it's kind of like if you want to go cheaper, right? Like Elliot Anderson, KDH, and then spread the
Elliot
funds.
Anderson now on penalties. So
maybe.
Holy cannoli.
Yeah. All right. Next up, wow, we have a question from the Aura Man himself at FPL Conte. Top 5,000 in the world this season. He is going to be the savior of #FPLUSA. Avi wants to know, looking ahead, wow, do we think Frimpong will be fit to play left wing when Salah goes? Hard to know what Liverpool are going to do. Right wing, excuse me. Hard to know what they're going to do with their front three when Salah does go, but it's probably a good thing that Salah is going to go, because it ain't working with him in there right now, and he can't do much. I think he had a few opportunities where he could have scored points for an assist, but like his goal threat is way, way down. So I don't know how bad they're going to miss him, to be honest.
I think it's they're going to just shift formation. Again, I'm not a Liverpool fan, so I would be interested. Comment if you're a diehard Liverpool supporter. Get in our mentions and tell us how wrong we are. But I think Isak and Ekitike are going to end up kind of taking over that role, and there will be more of a formation swap to be in a 4-4-2. That's my expectation. Their current kind of 1-3, they're like 4-1-2-3 or whatever it is that they're in right now is just not working. Gravenbach is doing too much. Szoboszlai is playing like 6 different positions. They just need to really make a significant change. I mean, it's bad when he's like looking around and he's like sweating bullets. His hair is everywhere.
Like, is anybody else going to help me out here?
No one else wants to run, and no one wants to do a slide tackle. Come on, y'all.
All right. So, yeah, it's really interesting to see if Liverpool can rebound. All right. Then we also have a couple questions about Turkey Day here in the US of A. At Mr. Hazy wants to know, what Premier League player could eat the most turkey? Absolutely fantastic lifestyle question. Bucks, who do you got here? Who are some of the most hungry players in the Premier League?
I feel like this question is loaded because I'm not in the Premier League, and I would give all these guys a run for their money. I would have a second, maybe third helping. One guy who looks like he could put it down is Murillo. He put down a lot of FPL points for Nottingham Forest in that away match against Liverpool. He got a 17-pointer. He's a thick boy, but he can still run. And so he looks like he has the body type to stuff down seconds and maybe thirds, just like me. So rate that. And then, some big lads in the Premier League, like Tarkowski, like Virgil van Dijk.
Maybe Maguire.
Those guys got to eat, keep their fitness.
Yeah, now I'm Google searching. Who are the top 10 heaviest Premier League players? Who's really just a 18 stone? There's some big boys there. Yeah.
I changed my answer. Rodon is the answer. With those neck tattoos, he's got some thickness to him. Yeah. That guy, he would even have some dry turkey.
You know what? I'm also want to just shout out the Dan Burn body type, like somebody who's like 6'7", right? And they can just like stand up, they can get their stomach to push the food down the rest of their body. Maybe some of those skinny eaters, they can really put it down. So you got
to walk a digesty walk.
Yeah. So I'll shout out Dan Burn. You kind of go towards the center backs, but there's so much food to be had, Bucks. And that's our last question we have is actually from at Mike Heyman fan as well. Wants to know our favorite side dishes during Thanksgiving. So give us 3 of your top favorites.
No, there's only one right answer. I'm going to give it to you first. This is a little inter-host test. There's only one right answer, Brian. Don't mess this up, please, for our friendship's sake.
Oh, for me, it's mashed potatoes. I'm a Midwestern boy. Need to have my mash.
It's a good shout. I know how buttery those mashed potatoes must be. The right answer is stuffing. Stuffing is the staple that brings Thanksgiving together.
Delicious.
And it's a double header because you can't have stuffing without gravy. And gravy is really the glue guy. He is the Szoboszlai that brings together the whole plate of a successful squad. And if you had 11 of them, you'd be, down for the count, having a really nice post-meal nap. That's for sure.
As long as you set up your plate where you're pouring the gravy out of the gravy boat and not touching any of the other greens, right? Like I like to have a couple greenery items on my plate, but don't let the gravy touch my little kale salad. All right. I scoop up and I always eat my greens first on my plate. And then if the gravy gets on anything, turkey, stuffing, rolls, whatever, that's all good. I want that together. But now
let me get in here real quick. Because Brian, I know, your family is, you have some spice in you. You have any special chin staples at your Thanksgiving table that maybe the rest of us Americans don't?
Nope, not gonna lie. We're very much we go traditional for the Thanksgiving dinner, but we do go with some of the appetizers for we do Thanksgiving dinner 5 p.m. So while the football is on midday, I'm going to be doing a nice little baked brie with hot honey, and then a few little accoutrements on top. So that'll be tasty, super basic. I'm looking forward to that. So the hot honey feature is very nice. I've also done some grilled halloumi type of appetizers.
Wow.
Just fire up the grill, throw that delicious cheese on there, and then hot honey, maybe a little pistachio, a couple nuts on there. That's a nice and easy appetizer as well.
So no, you don't break into the frozen dumpling stash that I know you have.
Well, that's actually part of our post-Thanksgiving tradition is we do dumpling night. We make hundreds of dumplings the day after Thanksgiving.
So you don't eat any before?
No dumplings before, but the day after, we all have Thanksgiving leftovers for lunch, and then we digest that, and then Friday night dumpling night is on. So I'll be nice and hopefully sauced for that. Looking forward to
put an order or two on the side for the old Bucksbound clan.
Oh yeah, we do pan fried and steamed. It's a big production, and I'm making a stir fry. So we got a lot of cooking. I did a lot of grocery shopping last night, but underrated sides though, and the Brussels sprouts with crispy pancetta or something, just to have a couple different flavor profiles. Balsamic glaze on there, like a little bit of that. I like having that included in my on my plate as well.
That's my responsibility for my Greek mother-in-law, whose house we're going over to. So I'm married into a Greek family. We have some weird inclusions on our Thanksgiving table. First and foremost, we have stuffed grape leaves, dolmades. Oh my goodness. Yes. That is one of the staples of my mother-in-law. She is a saint when it comes to meat-filled grape leaves. Lady has no equal. And then kind of out of left field, but tzatziki, a little cucumber yogurt sauce, low-key goes incredible with some Thanksgiving spread. So if you are looking to change it up, you want to get some nice tzatziki, you want to make it at home, it's very easy.
I was going to say, you want to go a little healthier than the extra gravy, just a little tzatziki on that turkey. You know, that can be good. Yeah. And then
no love for the pumpkin pie. I think pumpkin pie is, if it's not the best pie, it's top 3. It's so good.
Wow. Yeah, my in-laws are not big pumpkin pie fans. To be honest, we go with the pumpkin cheesecake bites. That's one of the things we make, and then little pecan tart bites. Like I don't need a whole slice of pecan pie, but the little like tartlets, delicious with that buttery crust. Actually, I forgot the follow-up question before. I wanted to know, does your family's stuffing have meat in it?
No, definitely
you go with all bread.
No, it's bread and root veggies. It's it's dry stuffing, never wet stuffing.
Yep.
Yeah, dry.
So the stuffing that my in-laws do, they got a little ground sausage in there, which is very, very tasty.
Little sage. I'm starting to get really hungry. Let's get out of here so I don't
okay, you're right. I gotta bounce. We're over time. But let's thank the listeners for sending in their #FPL community questions. We love and appreciate y'all for joining us on this season. Let's go quickly to our...
We should call. Let's get some listeners to submit photos of their Thanksgiving table.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Let's do a tenner to charity for whoever sends the best photo of their Thanksgiving spread. I will personally do that in the season of giving.
Bada bing, bada boom.
$10 to your charity voice.
It's transfer plans and captaincy shouts time. Let's get out of here, Bucks. I'm going to go over my moves quickly. I don't have a team on screen, but I still have Gabriel, so I'm probably going to move him to Nico O'Reilly, potentially.
Ooh,
and then if that doesn't work, then, I could roll, I guess, and just play my other stiffs. I'm really not thinking about FPL. I got my mind on the food, but I will be captaining or triple captaining Erling Haaland this week. That's the triple captain's on the table. I'm going to free hit game week 16. What about you, Bucks? What do you got? You're on free hit?
I'm on free hit. The button is already pressed. Beautiful. Free hit 13. I have a completely new squad, and I will captain Erling Haaland. Just as a little preview, I'm going to wait to triple captain Erling Haaland in game week 17 when he plays West Ham at home. So nice. I've already figured out my chip strategy. It's a little basic, but again, I'm just trying to kind of eke out a couple more green arrows as we get through the kind of fixture pile up. This isn't, again, you're not going to win in the month of December, but the month of December is when many managers kind of lose the plot and they fall off setting their team. They forget to kind of make captaincy swaps or make any transfers. Don't be that guy in your mini league. Keep setting your team, keep playing through the new year, and then depending on how you're looking in January, you can make a decision on whether you're going to take it super seriously or kind of have fun with it in the second half of the season. So with that, holiday cheer, best of luck, and let's get some green arrows for Brian, especially in game week 13. How's that sound?
Impossible. You can't do that. Can't do that when you have Sal.
The Grinch is here.
All righty. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week.